They even get rid of the Storm. So just not wanting to risk these kind of mid pickups. Lilgun, they'll go into the Ember again, and I've got to be honest, John, I can't blame them. I think Sanctity had way too good of a time on this Ember Spirit last game around. And that's not the first time we've seen him dominate on this Ember either. We see it over and over again from this man. I think it's a great hero for Lilgun. If it works, you don't fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a fantastic time in his mid lane matchup. He played really aggressive. I think that's what you always want to see from Ember Spirit. SMG straight into the Void, so they've got a really strong lane, but I'm worried now. Lilgun managed to pick up the Lycan. They love running the safe lane Lycan. It's still really strong in the right hands, and your control for SMG, you don't really have the best. Like, your best bet is to soulbind Lycan with someone else and just hold him down. That's probably your best bet. They get the Bloodseeker as well to counteract, so Rupture to stop the Lycan from running around is one big way as well, and there's some synergy now with double Rupture with a Grimstroke. But the question is that enough? It can go either way. I think we've seen Lilgun actually run Lycan versus Bloodseeker and still somehow come out on top, at least make it very close, so they still know how to deal with his counter pick from SMG, and I think that was actually against SMG, where they did run that Lycan. If I recall right, they did manage to kind of do that. Yeah, there wasn't a Bloodseeker in that game, but I think Lilgun might be used to that counter, so we'll see if they can get themselves to a comfy point with the Lycan here. SMG kind of covering their bases in the draft this time, so big stark difference with game one, where the draft just felt like it was very open to being brooded out. This time, they've got some ways of at least answering that Lycan.
Yeah. Final banouts to come before we can see the drafts being completed. But John, I did want to quickly ask you, before we did have these drafts completed, how does it feel for once to not be completely loved by the chat? And there's a lot of people not the biggest fan of the VTuber caster, and for once, John, you're not 100% loved, and people trying to stick up for you in the chat saying that I pick on you all the time. How does it feel to be in my shoes for a bit?
It's all right. You know, I don't mind. You get some love, or you get the attention away from yourself. That's fine. I'm fine. I like this just for today at least. Right at any major hype, got the good backgrounds going on all the way in Tokyo. I miss Japan. Such a place to visit. I do.
Japan is an amazing place for sure. SMG, we're still waiting on this final ban out before we can continue. So they'll get rid of the Underlord. So just focusing on those offlane heroes, trying to make it as hard as possible for X123. Mind you, 123, he could go for the Lycan offlane, but I suppose it's not quite as popular as it used to be, especially with all the changes that have been made and the Necro book being removed from the game. Maybe not quite an offlane Lycan, but you never know. They could still make it happen.
They could. I think in this case, because of that Bloodseeker counter, you might want to just put the Lycan on a lower position. You're not completely locked out of your win condition here for Lilgun. But again, they're kind of used to running Lycan safe, so I have to see if that flexibility is on hand. SMG, I mean, it's looking like they might run the mid one Bloodseeker, but again, it's also kind of open. Could just be KP. We've seen him play it a lot as well, not just in SMG, but when he was on TNC. So could still be an off-lane Blood to lane against a Lycan, but they could still flex it themselves. They don't have last pick overall, so they're going to have to show their hand first, and Lilgun can kind of adapt from there.
1 minute reserve time left to think about it. SMG still looking for a really kind of solid safe lane, and they're going to go for the Morphling round. Fair enough. You do have some nice heroes to morph into, but there's a Meepo coming up for Lilgun. Uh-oh. Lilgun getting as cheesy as humanly possible here with the Lycan Meepo. It's an X123 Meepo in the offlane, apparently. I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly where they're going to throw X123, but you know what, John? I don't mind it. I think the Meepo is simply here to just lock down the Void Spirit, lock down the Morphling with those nets, just hold them down and allow Marvel to get to work. And even if that's not the case, even if they want to run X123 in the safe lane and kind of run a hard carry kind of Meepo, it still seems to fit just fine.
Yeah, you don't really have the best way of punishing the Meepo in AoE. Probably best bet is Cookie Stun to save, and Blood Right to silence up the Meepo. Gonna be a tough one. Like, once you lock in the Morphling without any defensive items up on that hero, is very vulnerable early on, and you can just kind of twack away at him. So, a lot of options here for Lilgun, closing out, as we tend to see them do. It's something a bit cheesier and unexpected. SMG, their draft is looking a lot more steady. This is definitely, you know, not as wonky from them. They're not completely countered by that Meepo pick. They can still sort of dance around it, but they have to hold themselves tight. The Meepo timing's going to be fast. The Lycan timing's going to be fast. If they're not careful, we might see a repeat of game 1 where lanes are run down and they just don't have space to get big.
John, leading up to that, I'm going to ask you the hard question. Everyone always wants to hear the answer to the hard question. So who came out with the better draft in your opinion?
Tricky. I'd lean towards Lilgun.
Okay.
The last pick Meepo is enough to throw any team off. Looks like they might actually just have 1-2-3 run mid and Sanctity take safe. So it's still a mid Meepo, which works out really nice. Like against a Void Spirit from the chats. There are still ways for you to play that as the Void Spirit, of course. It's not like it's a complete wash of the lane. But I don't think 1-2-3 is going to be feeling too bad. At the very least, you can always drop into your jungle as the Meepo once you've got one blown up with a divided we stand. And you can still build up from there. You're not super mobile early on as a Void Spirit. You're going to have to wait for level 6 to really contest. And that could be enough time for the Meepo to just build up there.
Big rotation here though, John. SMG as 5 going into the high ground of that Radiant jungle. Yeah, a very dangerous kind of predicament for Lilgun if they do end up running into SMG, but it seems that Lilgun is reading the movement of SMG for now and not really falling for this this kind of trap. Instead, the chats, he's going to have a look around for that mid ward, but they don't really spot it out. They think it's there, but they're going to find out the hard way that it's not.
What kind of scam you running here?
And Hedgie, or excuse me, Hischi is trying to get the deny off, but well, eventually I suppose they do end up getting the observe ward they wanted. Speaking of wards, by the way, John, look at this ward placed by the Dire side, SMG. Very deep kind of Radiant ward being placed early on. I'm quite intrigued to see what they can do with this.
Really just to cut off 1-2-3's farming line. So they want to have an easy access into that area, stop the Meepo from maybe stacking a large camp down south or out to the east, and just make it harder for the Meepo to build up resources. He's going to have to rely on the small camp on the upper left near the triangle instead, which is fine, but it's a bit more exposed, a bit less safe for 1-2-3, especially as levels go up. So this is SMG covering their bases, ensuring that they've got a way to stop that Meepo. So far, though, 1-2-3 in this lane, the chat is getting a little bit more done. Meepo level 1's not amazing. You've got really good ways from the chats to pressure with a Resonant Pulse. So it's just a bit of a slower build-up for the Meepo initially. That's something the chat should look to kind of leverage to at least get some good initial CS here.
Nice little Aether Remnant there to try and deny the range creep, and he does end up getting it. I was going to say, I didn't realize with Meepo, if you keep cancelling the poof, it keeps the sound cue going, which does seem rather annoying for the Void Spirit this matchup, but nevertheless, we'll have a look at the other lanes while we have a chance. Mid one and Rogi, of course, going to be up against Hischi and Marvel. It shouldn't be too hard of a lane for mid one on that Morphling, I don't think. I could say the same thing, though, for Marvel. He should have a decent enough time on this offlane Lycan. Both sides looking to just kind of farm up in this offlane.
He managed to get a really nice pull here from Hishki, though, so at the very least, he's trying to get that wave equalized quite nicely. Mid one's going to be trading, but he has to be a bit cautious. His
one's going to be
ship
careful.
is not that strong.
He's going. Hischi will not tie. Now turns back around the Earth Spike. It's going to land, but Rogi does have the cookie. Very close call for both players, but in the end, mid one's going to be fine. Hischi, he'll run back to the base and get a free reset for himself and just TP back up towards the top lane. Of course, down at the bot lane, the only one we haven't talked about yet, you've got KP there on the Bloodseeker. You've also got Arthur on the Grimstroke. They're going to be up against Sanctity for now on that Ember. You've also got an Ace 12. He's currently just trying to get some wards out on the Phoenix. Another one of those lanes where I don't necessarily see too much kill potential. It definitely is possible, but it feels like they're going to need a few levels before they can get started.
And this is a lane that Sanctity is pretty alright with controlling, especially if you get the chains off and the spirits off.
Oh, as I said, there was no kill potential. Afu's going to get jumped. They'll turn around onto the Ember. Sanctity going to be careful, and he does drop first. Afu is the one to take the first blood gold, and now KB will chase down Ace 12 and might be able to finish off the kill. And that was a very aggressive movement from Sanctity. It does not pay off. SMG should be very happy with the way that went.
It's one of those things for the Ember. You feel like you're still tanky, you go in level 3, but then you realize you don't have Flame Guard up, so you can't block any of that magic damage. You're lacking your AoE DPS as well, and it becomes a little bit easier for the enemy team to fight in. They got choked off by the tree line as well, so the Blood Right managed to just land in the right heroes at the right time, and they give out some big kills towards KP and Afu. So SMG setting up quite nicely in the bot lane. They're still getting a lot more on the top lane as well. You're not quite getting as much farm as you'd want here. For Marvel, he can't really leverage those wolves to harass out mid one. And all Hishki can do is kind of just poke Raji, but he doesn't care about this too much.
That he does not. Hishki gonna be able to run his way out. Mid lane, the water runes. Just gonna be picked up by both sides. The Chats is still having a very good time with this Void Spirit. Basically been just left alone to solo that mid lane as X123 continues to go back to the jungle. But the Chats is going to try and punish him for this. Meanwhile, mid one having a bit of a man fight here with Marvel. Gonna think better of it as Hishki now is making his way back in on the Lion. You could land that stun before the Strength Morph, that could be a dead Morphling, but mid one's been very quick on the reaction and they will end up punishing Hishki. Unfortunate there, he tried to go in for the Hex, but mid one just read his movements like a book.
And this is exactly what you want for SMG. Your top lane's holding out steady, your mid lane's actually still building up faster than the Meepo is right now. So X123 is just not able to get that huge gold and EXP that he'd want to so far. He's just playing in the jungle as best as he can, but you can see Afu's already trying to scout that out. He knows with a ward that it's not in this area. He could try cutting across towards a triangle or just looking for mid-kill.
Mid one ends up eventually getting caught out with that Hex.
Real freaking embarrassment.
It's something I wasn't quite expecting to happen, but it's exactly what does happen. There's now mid lane. You've got the Astral Steps up. Afu's around with the Inkswell and Silence whenever necessary onto Ace 12. But they aren't going to make the jump in yet. They're being very patient about this Phoenix attempt. X123, he's just farming the jungle while all this is happening. Not bothering to try and lane up against the Void Spirit. While SMG continue to focus on that mid lane. Ace 12 is really not giving the opening. It's now Afu. He's going to scout out X123 and could start kind of messing around with him if he wants. Instead, though, he's just going to try and soak some XP off him. Just make it a little bit annoying for the Meepos. Top lane, Roji. He's going to get caught out of the Snapfire and does end up dying. And now the Chats gets snared up, but gets a Ninth Aether Remnant to lock down one of the Meepos. He'll try to chase down, but there will be a poof away. Instead, they'll go on to Ace 12. The net's around. Underneath the Tier 1 tower, the Chats, he's out of Astral Step charges. He'll try to make the run. They at least get the Phoenix kill before he does go down, and he might not even die here. Dissimilate is out. He has another step charge. He's going to be just fine. You end up getting that Phoenix kill in the end.
Really well timed here from SMG. Raji just TPs in mid, gets a bottle refill for the Chats as well. So they're having a really good start for SMG. It's really different compared to game one. They managed to get the regression, although Afu.
He's been caught out. He'll go for the Ink Swamp, but they should have the Sun Ray to keep going. In fact, never mind. They'll just go for the Icarus Dive in with the Fire Spirits. Marvel trying to catch up to get the last hit. It looks like the Ace 12 will just take it. He's not willing to risk letting the kill go away. In the meantime, of course, mid one just continuing to farm up on the Morphling. By the way, John, looks like the Helm of the Dominator's up now for Marvel. Do you think he goes for the Helm of the Dom 2 this game? Like, do we see a very quick rush for it?
I don't reckon. I don't reckon you do. I feel like as a Lycan in this case, the creeps are nice, but you really need a little bit more damage to be up front for your team. Like, you're the off lane. You need to be sort of the body you throw forward to enable the Meepo to find the angles, to enable the Ember to weave in and out. So you'd probably want, I don't know, maybe an Echo Saber rush just to be able to get some slows off as well, get some good stats up for yourself. Try to build into the AC, or heck, maybe some aura items to help out. Vlad's could help out as well. One of those items to just help sustain the other cores. And don't really want to just go all in on the creep micro, but you have to respect the damage coming through here.
Mid one. You're right, Marvel is going to try and chase down Rogi. Meanwhile, Ace12 does die in the mid lane, but mid one.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, it's not a good trade. Not at all for SMG. You got a Phoenix, but you don't want to lose your pos one Morphling like that.
Nah, it's not worthwhile. And that's mid one, again, not respecting the damage output of the Lycan. He didn't shift to strength. They still have that tier 1 tower to TP into. And the Hishki comes in with the timely control, and they just find a kill. So they slow down the Morphling just a tad, giving more space out for X123 to build up. I think the hero that's really hurting right now is Sanctity. It's not quite built up on the Ember. They are making moves on it.
Nice Aether Remnant out, but a slider fist dodge on the stun, and now the chain's out. They have caught the chats. Icarus dive in. The Void Spirit is going to burn out to Ace12. They should be able to get the kill on the Phoenix, but who the hell cares? You got the mid Void Spirit, and that's all they wanted. And of course, Sanctity is still getting himself out unless Arfu can find a way in. In fact, Sanctity's going to run right into him. Mid one almost dies to the slider fist. Inkswell not going to land. KB, he'll pop the Rupture. Sanctity, he needs some help ASAP. He's going to try and juke around the tree line, but it looks like he has no way out. And eventually will get punished for his movements. And, well, that's one thing he can't underestimate is the Rupture of KB. Unfortunately, this time around he does, and he does end up paying for it.
It's a nice big kill. Again, Sanctity's probably bottom core right now. Not doing all too well. His lane was slower to start, falling behind in farm. He's trying to go for the urn, probably Spirit Vessel build up for him. It's more of a utility Ember, which does mean they're putting this game entirely on the back of X123. Now, they have managed to get the Meepo up to a very good point. He's got the Dragon Lance up, Power Threads up, Blink coming next. That's a big power spike for the Meepo to start playing. They just need to hold on until they reach that point. Maybe get their levels up on their supports, especially Hishki. You just want that finger up and running on your line to at least be able to find some burst pickoffs. With a top tier 1 gone as well, X123 is just playing around that jungle along with Marvel. They're denying safe space away from SMG, and they're still kind of staying in the game. They're 1k behind SMG. All the cores of SMG are evenly farmed. They just need to maybe look for the angle to come in. The Chance is trying to rush the Ags though, so that means no Yule setup for the Void Spirit. That means it could be a bit slower for him to start setting pace for the game.
By the way, John, it turns out that we are rushing Helm of the Dom 2. So there you go. I'm very excited now. This is what I was kind of hoping for, John. I'm not going to lie. It's just a lot of fun to watch it. We'll see how long it does take Marvel. He's going for the standard kind of the boots switch up, I guess. You're just not going to buy it, and you'll just go straight for the Helm of the Dom 2 rush, which makes enough sense. I'm just wondering whether it's actually going to work out for him. I suppose we're going to find out very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is one way to apply pressure on this off-lane Lycan. Just have multiple dominating creeps around, keep shoving lanes out. They're really tanky up front as well. Unexpectedly tanky once the Dominator's used up. Can kind of go that route and just try to control that up. They're kind of sharing farm here, at least Marvel's trying to tank up the Ancients for 23. He's trying to be efficient. This is giving time for SMG to build up as well. They've got 1 to 2k lead. It's starting to bounce around. The only really hero building up on Lilgun's end is really the Meepo, whereas the rest of SMG are steadily getting a trickle up, so have to be cautious with how much you give away here.
Oh, Egg committed. The Chance was trying to go for the kill. They are still going to try and rush in. Rogi tried to snipe the Egg. He's not going to be able to do it, though. Marvel, meanwhile, been ruptured up. They might be able to turn now, as the Lycan cannot run away. He will try. He'll at least get a kill onto Rogi, and meanwhile, mid one ends up dying to the Lion. Hishki ends up getting the kill, and now they go in mid lane. Arfu gonna get caught out, and they'll even find KP. Oh boy.
That is not worthwhile. This is the big timing for X123. He had the blink. He could be all over the map. He jumps in, gap closes, bursts down. Mid one shows up for the defense. I don't think he should be here at all. He can't really help. He's level 9, no items up, power falls. He just needs to farm. Midwin just needs to sit back, finish this Yasha, maybe go for the Manta here, or the Sanj just for more stats, and try to keep having his team buy him space. That's all he can really do. Morphlings still need so much more time to cuck up, and they just need to hold steady, hold on to some form of map control, and keep farming up in this Morphling.
Absolutely. A very rough time so far. The SMG, I mean, they were the aggressors, but you don't want to lose that momentum, especially up against the draft of Lilgun, who does... It does tend to take over with this kind of draft if you're not too careful. Helm of the Dom, number 2, going to be finished very soon as well, so Marvel will really be able to start applying a lot more pressure for his team. Lilgun now. They've got the blink up, they found Rogi, X123's right in. And that'll be a snapfire gone. I like the fact that X123 does go for the aggressive blink style build. Will allow him now to get active and just start running at the side of SMG, and it feels like there's not really much they can do about it.
Yeah, this is where this build-up in the chats kind of bites him back. Like, the act is almost done. We're done.
Going in, Inkswell gonna stun him up, but there's X123 with the blink in. And it's like your classic pub game jump. You know, when the Mapo blinks in on top of you, you know you are dead.
Yeah, there's no way to stop that. It's a rough time. At the least, they're only finding supports in the recent set of clashes, but it just goes back to this build-up on SMG. KP went for Midas, so he has nothing to play with actively for now. The Ags is almost done on the chance. Maybe that's enough, but they don't have setup for, say, the Remnant coming through because there's no Yules, there's no early items to play aggressively with. They're still waiting for their Morphling to build into the shotgun first, so it's just Yasha shotgun, E-Blade straight up. But defensive items, that is a bit risky here for mid one as well. I mean, we have seen him fall. Even a Manta would help out. At least causing some, dodging out the Earth Spikes would be nice. And getting out of the net and root would be great, but this is a massive risk. They're going all in on damage. We'll see if it pays off for mid one. We'll still have to wait for KP to finish his BKB. So again, a slower draft. We'll smoke up. I believe that is the Ags in the chat, so they're going to want to show that off.
Absolutely. Sanctity would be a nice target. Smoke broken, they can't find it. Chats, he places the ward down now, but that was even scouted out, so should be a quick D ward here from Lilgun, and they might be able to turn. They're just going to hang around that mid-tier 1 tower and wait to see if SMG are going to move their way in. In fact, now Sanctity going to spot out the chats. Aghanim Scepter is going to be revealed into a nice cookie, but the Sunray's there. Soulbind down, X123. He is right in on top of the Grimstroke. Meanwhile, the chats is still getting taken down. Dissimilate is out, but it is not going to matter. They'll die for more now. Rogi is trying for the TP, but it is not enough. It's looking bad now for SMG. They're just not really able to keep up with the tempo anymore, I don't think. It's looking very rough. I think Lilgun, they might go for a Roshan. Will they? No, not quite. Maybe they'll run into KB instead, and why not just get another kill? Nice and easy for X123. Add it to the list.
Yeah, and now it's the time for Roche. They go in, they can easily melt it. They've still got the Egg race ready to go on Ace 12, so even if you force a team fight here from SMG, it's a tight spot. The Egg can be positioned really nicely. You don't have the Kisses up, you don't have Soulbind up. Not a fight you want to take, and that's going to be a second life for X123, more than likely flying through. SMG, they're engaging as 3 heroes. They need to engage as 4. You can't play 3 Protect 2. The Bloodseeker has to be up there with a Blood Right, with a Rupture, to really get the control you need. If KP's not around, it's not a fight you want to take against the full lineup of Lilgun at all.
You start to wonder what the side of SMG can really do now. Like mid one, he's trying to get the shotgun up on the morph, and he'll have it really soon. That should help. Mid lane, they have caught Sanctity, and that'll be a nice pickup. And maybe that's the idea, right? Just keep trying to look for solo pickoffs, trying to punish the mistakes from Lilgun. If they can keep that up, they should be able to buy enough time for mid one. Be able to just keep that farm up on the Morphling. Still, while that was happening, of course, the rest of Lilgun, they've just started pressuring the top lane again. You've almost got that Eye of Skadi up on 1, 2, 3. It's going to make life a lot harder for the Morphling.
It's already really tough. That's going to punish the fact that mid one just doesn't have any defensive items at all. So you're easily going to be able to burst him down. Love that, you know, Marvel with the Helm of the Overlord does get that Ancient Black Dragon. Really easy to shove out waves, easy to push down towers. Yeah, it's just super strong with the aura as well. The tankiness it provides is really nice. And SMG, they can't really trade as fast. They just don't push as fast. So they're pressuring the bot tier 2, not quite as quick. They go back for mid instead.
Yeah, but Hex is out. They've caught the chance. Rupture is there from KP to try and hold them back, but it may not be enough as the poofs are in. KP, he's already gone. Now the ensnares are out. They've caught the chance. He'll try to dissimulate his way out of this one. Do they know where he went though? Remnant towards the south. They've got the right idea. But the chance is going to be able to TP in instead. Arfu got caught in the Grimstroke. And now mid one. Shotgun, not going to be enough for the Phoenix, and now the nets are there as well. He is locked down and he's gone. And John, you know what's really clever about this Helm of the Dominator too? Is you've got this ancient Thunder Tide, or Thunder Hide, excuse me. The Frenzy gives plus 75 attack speed to all the Meepos.
Is it all?
All of them.
I thought it's just one.
All of them.
So with if you put one, it buffs all of them? Jeez.
Yep. It's an AoE, John. And here we go again.
Oh.
Onto the chats. Cookie, not going to be enough to get into the high ground, but the 4-star will still Remnant forward. Sanctity, he will have none of it. Chains around. They've caught another. KP is set to fall us now an egg into the base of the tire. Sanctity is not done. He wants a bit more, but the chains are on cooldown. Instead, why not just go for a Rax?
Yeah. It just melts at the Meepo. They just don't have defense. They don't have team fight. They need a Rupture to hold down one hero, but there's so many Meepos out that even if you pin down, say, Marvel, you have many bigger issues to worry about.
Oh, and again it snares out mid one. He's been caught with the Spirit Vessel. Eye of Skadi. It's just so much damage. A nice Inkswell might save the day. Mid one is going to be able to waveform out. The Spirit Vessel is going to kill him off though. They still get the kill, and now they're diving the fountain. They want the GG call.
Oh, God.
Lilgun, look at the confidence. Bloodride is down. Does X123 care? Maybe they've gone a bit too far. They'll lose the Aegis. X123 gonna keep going. It snares out. The chat's been caught again. A nice Earth Spike with the Sun Ray to just keep healing them up. Bloodride is there. They are still being dived. Now they'll try to back X123. He'll poof his Meepos away. But I think 123 said all that there is needed to be said, John. This is a real embarrassment here. There's 123. It gets caught by the Cookie. The Inkswell, it's a lot of damage. Maybe this time they can kill him, and they will be able to get him. But 2 Rax is down. Mid one is going to be able to kill off Fishki. Maybe even Ace 12 as the Bloodride Silence does kick in. With the Snapfire Kisses, they'll be able to punish Marvel. He's still using those ancient creeps to try and kill off Arfu. And he might be able to get him as well. That's the worst part. Shotgun is there. Do they have a way to stun? Yeah, they do. But now the chain's in and the Remnant Sanctity. He's not done. He wants to clean up. Mid one can get chased down by all these creeps. Arfu is going to try and run with the Inkswell. Sanctity is unable to reach with the Sleight of Fist, but he's making his way over. The vision is there from the Wolves. Roger going to get taken down. Is Arfu safe?
Oh my God. Oh God.
Let's bring up the odds, John. What's Lupet saying right now?
What's it at?
I'm bringing it up, John. I haven't got it quite yet, but a 1-to-1 exactly.
Wow. 1-to-1. Oh man. How the odds have turned. Lilgun just doing spectacularly well and going for more.
Yeah, the chats. He's gonna be all right. He'll survive the finger.
Oh goodness, this is not a good time for SMG. They still need time for the Morphling to build up. We're seeing the Manta queued up by mid one. I think he should have gone for that first. Like this E-Blade's just not doing enough. Like the burst damage is great, but not really bursting anyone quick enough to justify it. You really need something defensive on your Morphling here. They at least still have a tier 2 holding out in their last lane, and they still hold on to the range racks on their mid. So Mega Creeps is not immediately a threat yet. There's still a few more objectives for Lilgun to work through, but they just smoke up. They've got Egg back up. They could look for more fights now.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Can confirm, by the way, I was a little bit wrong about the whole Thunderhide thing. Just FYI, John, you were correct. It is not an AoE. I think it was may have been a visual bug that I was looking at, but never mind that, because the chat, he's in, onto the line. They've got a great target. But Hishki's going to buy back, which does mean they want to try and fight. And look at Lilgun just start rushing forward into the poofs out from X123. There goes the chats, already being blown up onto Hafu. They'll find another. Now the X been dropped. Can they fight into this? They're going to try. KP trying to go on for the Meepo. He can't get him in time. They'll turn again. The waveform will be enough, but is it going to be enough to pull this game back their way? It does not look like a mid one. He'll call the GG, and Lilgun will be able to 2-0 SMG. And that's a result that I think nobody was really expecting. But there you go, John. Lilgun surprising everyone today with a 2-0 victory. And turns out, for us, it's been a very early day.
Yeah, it was real quick. 2 best of 3s going 2-0. Immediate eliminations. Very well played from Lilgun here. It's down to draft. Like, a lot of it's draft here. The Meepo caught them off guard as the last pick. They had to focus on banning the Brood in the first phase along with Nyx. But it also boiled down to execution. Lilgun played really clean. We were seeing the chats actually kind of work his mid lane fine. We saw mid one, he dropped once, but he also managed to get a couple, 1 kill back for himself up top and managed to hold out on his own quite nicely. Some of it really boiled down to itemization and playstyle. Like, SMG, in those mid-game fights, they had Raji and Afu running with the chats once he had his Ags up, but KP wasn't there. KP was farming. You can't have 2 heroes farming, 3 heroes fighting. You need to have at least 4. They needed the Blood Right. They needed a Rupture earlier on to find some wins, and Lilgun, knowing that SMG was a bit fragmented, they managed to get the punishment, build up. X123 just playing amazingly well on the Meepo, and Marvel and Sanctity as well. In fact, everyone, Hishki on his line getting all the best Earth Spikes, Ace 12 with all the Sun Rays to save. They just all play on point, and this is the Lilgun that I think we were all missing out from the Upper Div. This is what we expected from them in Upper Div. Didn't quite happen in Season 2, but it's showing its form again here, at least in the Pro Series 6.
I mean, they're certainly showing that they might be deserving of that upper division as well, right? Because, I mean, SMG, they just made their way over to the upper division for next season. And as you can see, Lilgun proving that maybe they do deserve that upper division spot in the DPC. But nevertheless, for that, I believe we might have an interview. And in fact, we do. X123 is going to join us here to have a bit of a chat as to what happened today. So we'll drag him over. Hello, X123. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing? Congratulations on your victory. Very good to speak to you now. How do you feel after that victory? You feeling pumped? You feeling good, or do you feel like that was a little bit too easy?
No. I feel great.
You what? Sorry.
I feel great.
Yeah,
It was a good game.
definitely. I've got a question. You guys are looking. It was a bit rocky in DPC, of course. The group stage as well weren't the greatest. How confident are you going into the playoffs? Like, you just won against SMG. Are you guys like your chances climbing through the playoffs here? Maybe try to aim to take it all?
I don't understand. Can you repeat it?
Oh, sure. Are you guys feeling confident in your team right now?
No, not really.
Oh,
We are not
a lot
feeling
more to work
really
on.
confident.
Hmm.
Well, what do you think there is to work on right now with the team? Like, what's the biggest weakness right now for the side of Lilgun? Do you think?
Maybe our draft and picking hero pools.
Right. So you're just not happy
Yeah.
the way you guys are going with the drafting. Like it feels like you guys are going for those cheesier kind of picks. I think with the Broodmother, the Meepo, the Lycans. Are you saying you want to kind of move away from that and try to go for something a bit more standard, or?
Yes, we are trying to.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm curious. Is there any team that you guys really want to play here in the playoffs? Anyone you want to run into, to play against, to test yourselves against?
Young, I think.
Sorry, did you say Neon?
Young, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that would be a fun matchup, actually, because you've got two very aggressive teams. Hopefully we do get to see that later on. X123, I just want to ask, do you enjoy playing these micro heroes? Is it stressful for you to play the Meepo, or are you having a lot of fun when you're playing these kind of heroes?
I'm having lots of fun playing these heroes. They're fun for me.
Well, there you go. There you go. He does enjoy it, apparently. John, you got any other questions before we do let the man head off?
No, I don't have any.
Yeah, I think that covers all the bases here. All the best forward. And you guys are looking great, at least here in day one. Hopefully that stays up.
Okay.
Well, thank you. You have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you. With that, that was the lovely X123 joining us for the interview. Obviously, big congratulations to the side of Lilgun for pulling off this 2-0 victory. I mean, as you could see, he was kind of shaken up a little bit, as you could tell. Not too talkative during the interview, but he did say his chest hurts a little bit. And obviously, the side of Lilgun were very excited to be able to pull off the victory. And well, they've moved on, John. They're on to the round of 2 of the lower bracket now. I don't believe we know exactly who they're going to be versing yet. But it should be either Boom Esports or Neon, which we're going to have to find out which one of those teams loses in the upper bracket tomorrow. And once we do know, then obviously we'll know the competitors for Lilgun the next day over. But it should be a very interesting matchup. Obviously, he said he wants to verse Neon next up, and we'll see if that does pan out. Again, Boom Esports is going to be against them tomorrow. Assuming Boom can make the victory happen, then we could see Lilgun versus Neon, but it's going to happen first.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how it pulls off. Should be an exciting day of upper bracket matches. But, of course, before we close out, got to give thanks to our sponsor. Thank you to Mate Mate. Mate Mate, a natural energy drink, is caffeine reimagined. By Mate Mate today and get more day, more night. Mate Mate is available at all 7-Elevens throughout Asia. Or click on the banner below and head over to the website and place your order. And we're also doing a giveaway here on the channel. So make sure you enter that giveaway by typing in !Mate in chat. We have 10 winners today, 2 cases per winner over the entire playoffs. And this is open for all of Asia and Oceania. So it's one of those rare giveaways where all of us in the region can join in. So make sure you type it in chat. You've got 10 minutes after the series ends. So around 10 minutes after now to join in. Make sure you do. It's one of those rare giveaways. You don't want to miss out.
Absolutely. And do check your whispers and DMs on Twitch as well if you're joining the giveaway. As our mods in the chat are trying to whisper people to let them know they have won. Apart from that, though, that's pretty much it for today, John. A very early day. Of course, tomorrow we do have the upper bracket. We do have Motivate Trust up against Galaxy Racer in our first series, and Boom Esports versus OB Neon right after that. So it should be a very exciting day of SEA Dota tomorrow. With that, I guess we can head off. I mean, the Major's on very soon as well, so plenty of Dota on today. And hopefully, John, you had a good day, I'm sure. We'll get to enjoy some upper bracket tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully y'all tune back in and also enjoy the Animator. There's more weebness to come out, not just this, I'm sure. Hopefully. I'm looking forward to it, Mike.
But we'll find out. Anyway, it is MLPDotA, it is johnxfire. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Same place, same time for the upper bracket. We'll see you then.